Hello and welcome to today's video. In this video, we'll discuss 3 survival mindsets from the book, The Psychology of Money. Number 1, be financially unbreakable. See, understand it's almost always foolish to hold cash during a bull run in the market. To be true, almost all of us wants to hold cash that goes up in value and give us some profit. You might think you are taking a conservative approach by holding on to cash and not letting your cash get exposed to risky investment options. You might think holding on to cash is much more safer than putting money into the stock market, which is much more riskier, but you're actually giving up a lot. The market has given us a potential return of around 14 to 15% on an average versus a 2 to 3% in savings account where you put your cash. That's a hefty 10-11% difference. A 10 to 12% difference for not owning good stuff. A 10% difference all throughout the bull run and even after it's gone will constantly haunt you, even after it's over. It's going to claw you and keep your wounds bleeding long after it's gone. Now take the reverse side of it. Let's say suppose the market is on a bear run and you're holding on to cash which is giving you 2 to 3% returns in a bear market. You would say it's profitable, isn't it? You might think you have saved the losses that are getting incurred into the market. You might say that you have saved your money from getting the bear run hit in the market. In fact, you've actually earned 2 to 3%. But is that the right mindset? Is that the right way of thinking? Is that the right way to hold on to cash? The right thinking is that you held on to this cash during this bear run, which earned you 2 to 3% of the returns, and this cash helped you to run your day-to-day living expenses. This cash was your emergency fund. This cash was at hand, which provided you with the required ability to spend when you wanted to spend, when the requirement came into existence. You didn't have to sell out your shares at a dead loss. You're not forced to sell off your shares in a dire need of money. So if you're thinking that you have saved the negative bear run in the market, you have saved the dip, you're partially right. You're partially right because you have not only saved the dip, but you have earned a multifold returns by not selling off the share that you're holding for a longer period of time. The share which is now showing as a negative return, the stock or the security which is now giving you a negative return, you are still holding on to it because you are not forced to sell it off in distress. So here's an important takeaway. Preventing an ill-timed sell of a stock or a security can do wonders and give you multiple returns than picking a bag of big-time winners. See, try and understand this. The compounding effect, it doesn't rely on big-time heavy returns from the market. It just relies on being consistent and sticking to the market for a very long period of time. An investment that remained uninterrupted for a very long period of time, especially during the time of distress, during the time when the market is in the bear run. Uninterrupted, unplanned movement, unplanned withdrawal is what helps compounding give its full effect. Number 2, planning is important, but also plan for the plan not going as per the plan. Financial and investment planning are very, very critical for your life. They let you know that you are within the boundary of being reasonable. But unfortunately, very few plan survives the full journey. Very few plan survives the full journey for which they have been actually planned for, when they actually hit the market, when they hit the actual circumstances, the actual scenario, when they put into real test. See, most of us, we plan for a long period of time, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But do we know if the ride is going to be smooth for us or will it be a roller coaster? Of course, it will be a roller coaster. But the problem is we do not know when, how big or how massive the waves will be, how massive the dips and the highs, the rise will be, when, at what point of time, and at what magnitude will those be. We are not aware of any one of those. God, that's a big uncertainty. We know nothing about the span, the magnitude, or the number of hits that we're going to get on our way in the investment journey. 10 years, 15, 20, 25 years, that's a long period of time. We are not certain. how the market is going to hit us, how big the waves are going to be, how big the dips will be. 9/11, 26/11, 1994, Mr. Mehta, 2000, financial crisis, 2008, the recession, 2020, Corona, 2022, the war, and possibly the 2023 recession that we most certainly we can anticipate it's coming. See, it's such an uncertain world. What's going to come up next? Nobody knows. So your plan is only useful if it survives the entire span for which you have planned for. The entire 20-25 years if you have a long-term plan. But unfortunately, the reality is the future is filled with unknown circumstances. It's filled with unknown events. It's filled with unknown news and happenings that are going to come our way, and we have to take it as it comes. Now, if you have a very good plan, if you have chalked out a very good plan, if you have accounted for majority of these uncertainties that are expected to come in the future, you can definitely have a very good plan chalked out. A good plan embraces all of these and keeps room for errors. So don't try to be perfect. The more you try to be perfect, the more fragile you will become in this real world. So always develop a plan which has a room for error to absorb the uncertainties that are going to come your way in future. So if you're planning to get a return of 15% from the market, you should always have a room for error of about 4 to 5%. So the way of thinking should be like this: 15% is a good return, but just in case if I don't get it, a 4 to 5% of tolerance is fine for me. So somewhere around 10, 11, 12% return is also not bad. A 10, 11% return is also not bad. I'll still be okay with the 10% return. So if that is your way of thinking, if that is the tolerance that you have given to your plan, to your investments, you can ride this market very, very smoothly. A room for error, or the margin of safety, is the most underappreciated forces in the world of finance. A frugal budget, flexible thinking, a loose timeline, less pressure, or anything that lets you live a happy life. It's about living a happy life. It's not about living a very conservative life. It's about raising the level of safety and risk to a point where you can handle and manage both with ease. And number 3, the barbell personality. Come out of it, please. What is a barbell personality? Someone who is optimistic about the future but is very, very fearful about the present challenges which will prevent him from getting there. So sad. See, understand, optimism is a belief that things are going to go well for you. No doubt about that. You think everything is going to be good for you, but that is ridiculous. No good comes for free. You or someone else will have to work for it to make it good for you. Sitting idle and thinking things will solve itself for good is utter foolishness, pure nonsense. So be sensible, be realistic. So what is the difference between being optimistic and being sensibly optimistic? See, sensible optimism is believing that things are going to work out for you to be on the positive side in the future. But during your journey, you might face a lot of trouble. That is sensible optimism. And foolish optimism is believing that things are going to work out for you if you just sit idle and everything is going to come and fall at your feet. That is foolish optimism. Now, there is a contradiction. If your mind disbelieves, but yet you are optimistic, this is a very dangerous situation. It's very, very hard to maintain such a situation. See, the idea of something gaining importance over a very longer period of time, while during the journey, it will be thrown away from its path a numerous number of times. This is not an instinct. This is how things work in life. That's all for today. See you again. Till then, SG signing off. Goodbye.